Toby Keith never made a bop about eating pussy. You know?
But he should, dude.
How do you like me now? Now that I'm eating your cooch.
That's a pretty good Toby Keith.
Oh, thanks.
Please don't call him that. He's going to be doing this all the time. We heard that your favorite song is Try That in a Small Town.
I love it. It's just, you know.
We talked about it last week, and we were like, hey, the articles just be like how much of a shitty song it is. Like, it's not even
Not a good song. It feels like AI wrote it.
That's what I was
racist
gonna
AI.
say. Yeah, it's just it like hits. It's what a lot of country songs do, and I do like country, but like the songs that just hit every cookie cutter thing. They're like, hey, we need one more verse. Did we mention the troops yet? Did we mention God yet?
But also, like, if you take it off its words alone, you're like, it's like, oh, he would have gotten by with just the audio. But then they threw the video in there where they were like showing protests, and they were.
Well, the song didn't do well until they released the video.
And then it went to the top, a Billboard, and then the next week completely just dropped to like 99 or something crazy.
Like, not a good video.
That's the other thing. I couldn't have edited that video. It's just clips. You could have done it on your phone. It was like clips of like riots with that dude on stage. It's
And
like,
I hate him wearing that leather jacket cowboy hat combo. It's so aggressive. It's just.
Well, it's like, are you riding a horse or are you riding a motorcycle?
Yes.
Wait, you know what? You actually kind of nailed it because isn't the whole thing that nobody talks about is like the Nashville new country is like corny and like the pop version of country. And like, but they pretend like they're just like these, oh, we're just these like, you know, down home type people. It's like, no, you're not. You're millionaires who are pretending to be a character.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what it is?
It is a lot. When Taylor Swift first like came out into the country world, it was like, yeah, her dad was like a millionaire from Pennsylvania. And then they moved to Nashville for her career.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Swift head?
Yeah,
Swiftie?
I like Taylor Swift.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you like psychotic about it?
No, I'm not psychotic. I'm not like I'm too depressed to be a huge fan of anything. You know, like to be like die hard on anything.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I just don't care enough. Like I couldn't like, and I won't spend. Did you go see her concert?
No.
I said this
I'm
before.
not doing that well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My girlfriend's sister resold her tickets and made $5,000 profit on each ticket.
Nice.
It's crazy. I don't know who would ever pay that.
I said
anything.
the only thing if I had the $5,000 and last waltz the concert happened, that's the only thing I'd pay $5,000.
Yeah, but that's needing a resurrection.
Yeah, we need you have to go back in time basically. You're basically paying $5,000 towards a time machine to see it.
Don't people pay that much for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they probably pay more sometimes.
And that's, you know.
Yeah, but it's always like, but I feel like the Super Bowl a lot of the time is like corporations like just buying a shitload of tickets and then writing it off and then giving them out as like, you know, promos or whatever it is. You know, like we're like, hey, Taco Bell wants to sign you to the Super Bowl, like that kind of deal.
And it is more of it's a little more of a one-time thing, but still, I mean, what people pay for Super Bowl tickets is out of control.
Yeah, but you don't know if you're going to get a good show at the Super Bowl. Like, it might be a blowout. It might be kind of boring.
That's true.
Taylor Swift concert, you know you're going to get a great show.
She's going to bring it every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Well, she made the other thing she did, which is pretty commendable, and you hear all these stories. It's kind of sucked. Like, you would say that she's probably in the top 3 of famous people in the world at this point, right? It's her, Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Rife, they said Taylor Swift to comedy, and that's not from me. Somebody else said that. But the thing about it, it's got to be hard to be at that level because you're a wonderful person and an asshole at the same time. Like the amount of things I've seen where they're like, oh my God, she was nasty to this person, this background person. And then you hear that she gave bonuses and totaling $20 million to all the people that worked on the tour because of how much money the tour made. I'm like, yeah, that's inherently a good thing to do.
That's awesome.
Like, you don't have, a lot of people don't do that and she did it. So she's probably not a giant asshole.
Well,
you know?
it's also like, you know, we all work the road. There's this thing of like, you're not spending the night in your own bed. You're traveling all the time.
Yes.
It's exhausting. So you start figuring out like, well, here's what I need to perform the best. And I'm going to demand that. And it's going to make me sound like a dick. But I'm not necessarily, like, you're not really a dick. You just know what's going to make it a better time for you and for everybody else.
See, that's
also like when women ask for things, we're like bitches.
When women do, but they.
Well, I mean, that's why it's called a Karen at this point. You know what I mean? It is like I was thinking about that because of the Karen stigma. I am nervous to ask for anything anymore because I don't want to feel like a prick.
Because there's like male Karens. That's how you know when we get the short end of that stick.
There's a
'Cause
male Karen.
They didn't do Kevin.
Yeah.
They call them male Karens.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
You can't do that. Get your own name for it. Get your own dude name for it. Call it a Kevin or a Greg or something. I don't know what it would be.
Steven.
If you're just like, oh my God, look at that male Karen. He was such a pain in the ass. He turned into a woman and started screaming at that dude. But the other thing is this. The thing that gets me mad about the Karen, first off, I'm so over the Karen name. I think it's so fucking corny. But the other thing is the amount of times I have agreed with when you realize that the video is started midway through and you're like, yeah, she just doesn't want you to like she's like just saying like you're cutting the line and she doesn't want you to get in the way.
I love that we're just becoming the Karen apologist podcast. We're gonna start bringing
about it a lot,
we're gonna start bringing up videos like she's not wrong.
Well, here's the thing. It pertains to the podcast because it is, like you said, it's like if you're in the right, and you speak up, you can't. The way the videos are, you can be caught in the exact wrong moment of that being right. And then it makes it look like you're an asshole.
Sometimes there's context missing. Sometimes there's not. But.
Sometimes there's not.
No.
A lot of the time there's not. But I mean, like the woman in Central Park where she was like, there's a black man and his dog.
Yeah, they got the whole video.
Yeah.
There was no edits on that one.
Yeah.
No Adobe Premiere was used for that one. but there's other times where like, and not even Karens, I'm saying just the Karen videos. My new thing that I get annoyed at is that the idea of what a prank is has
Oh my
changed.
God, it's so mean.
It's the idea where you're like, hey, somebody's eating and you're just putting your finger in their face and they're like, he's like, what am I doing? It's like, can you just not film me, please? Like, they'll be like, can you not film me, please? They're like, zoom in. He's a fucking male Karen. Like, it's like this thing. It's like, no, he's not. He's just asking you politely to just please stop filming me.
Well, there was a guy that was I saw him doing a prank on TikTok, and he was just throwing things at people at a Lowe's while they were in line.
Got him.
And then just turn around and
Prank.
pretend like he didn't do it. It's like hitting a lady in the head with like a trash can. It's like, what the fuck, man?
This is a little different because I'm pretty sure it was set up where, like, you know, I feel like there are all of these couples on TikTok and stuff who will get on there and have like a fake fight or like a fight for views that is scripted. But there's one that I've seen multiple times of a guy who just like ruins all of his girlfriend's makeup, like throws water on all of it and just destroys it. And she's like, why would you do that?
And it's like bad acting.
And it's like,
or it's kind of believable.
I mean, honestly, I'm also very gullible. I'm just like, I think everything on the internet is real. But it's the way that she's she's so soft about it that either like this is a super either way, it's a troubled relationship.
Sure.
But either she is conditioned to not react appropriately, or it's like staged and scripted. But it's like he just did like $700 worth of damage, and he's like, pranked my girlfriend.
Like you're just a prick.
Yeah, real or fake. If they stage that's pretty lame because it's like that's not a prank. That's
But
fuck
I
with
think
people's stuff.
But if you're a girl, if you're at home and you think it's for real, and you'd be like, oh my God, I know how much that's worth. Like for you watching that, you'd be like, it's just makeup. It's not a big deal. But if you know what goes into it because you've bought makeup, you're like, what?
Right.
And you buy into it, you're like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like you freak out.
Well, and then you're mad, and then you share it, or you comment, and then they get what they want.
Or just watch the whole thing, and then that gets it to them and everything. But did you ever see, there's a guy who, he'll debunk people who seem like they're doing, like kind of like jerks, and he'll debunk, they'll be like, they seem kind of like lame, like these guys that are like, I'm dropping $5,000 on this. I'm giving $5,000 to this lady on the street just to answer one question about U.S. geography, whatever it is. And this dude on his account, he'll take those videos and he'll zoom in and he'll be like, see how right here it says this is not real money? Like on the money, he'll zoom in and go, like, this is not real cash. Like you can tell it says not for actual use, or it says like play money on the thing if you go into it. So there's, I would say, I'm wondering what percentage of those videos are completely
phony.
made up. I would say most of them.
I think like 85% of them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's such a bummer.
It really is.
I'm not a big prank guy, even when they're good pranks. I don't like being pranked. I don't like
I
doing
think
pranks.
if it's a sweet prank, I'm cool with it.
What's a sweet prank?
Okay,
Like
have
a
you
nice
seen the
surprise at the
video of all the guys wearing the same shirt? Have you seen that one?
Yes, that's a good one.
Like, so it's basically just like clearly everybody's girlfriend has like dressed their boyfriend. They're like, you should wear this shirt.
Yeah.
And so the first guy and his girlfriend are at wherever they're meeting wearing the shirt. And then the next guy comes in wearing the same shirt. And the two guys are like, oh my God, we're wearing the same shirt. And then the third guy comes in and then they realize like, oh my God, we're all wearing the same shirt. And then more guys come in and it just gets progressively fun. It's such a harmless prank.
Oh, that's
it's
a
clever.
sweet prank. When I think of pranks, I think of like the pranks that I've gotten done to me, like people drawing on me when I'm sleeping,
Right.
or pouring water on me, or trying to make me piss myself.
Sure.
I just don't think that's funny.
And even
I think it's.
Wait,
I think
are you
it's
talking
rude.
to somebody specifically right now? I feel like you're just thinking of a specific moment from your past.
My friends, when I listen,
Were you in a fraternity?
you know what? I was not in a fraternity, but when I was 26 years old, me and two of my buddies moved into a house together, and it was like a fraternity. And I remember I got really drunk, and I made it to my bed and went to sleep. And then my buddy came up into my room and dumped water on me.
Oh, you can't do that. You were on home base.
Thank you.
You can't
Yeah.
tag you out.
It's a vulnerable state at that point.
So I got my revenge multiple times.
What'd you do?
Just anytime he went to bed for like the next 2 weeks, I just poured water on him.
Really just amped it up to the
Yeah,
umpteenth
well,
level.
I was just if I make it there, I didn't even react. He dumped the water on me. I was so drunk, I just like slept in it, and then it was miserable when I woke up the next morning, just with like a soaked pillow and all gross.
Yeah.
I just there's got to be some rules, but in general, I don't like when people mess with people when they're sleeping.
You woke up, you're like, did my head piss the pillow? Did I drool that
Yeah.
much? That's how drunk you were? Like, I was pretty fucking drunk. I agree. I saw a pretty clever one. It wasn't even a prank. It was one of these, and I think it was for real because it sounded like a real snore. I think these guys were Australian or something. Have you seen this one where the guy's snoring so loud it sounds like a buzzsaw? And his friend, one guy's filming, and he has three groups of friends around the room, and two of them are pretending like it's an actual saw, and one of them is pulling a lawnmower thing. So it's kind of
funny.
three different scenarios that are like his snoring.
That's
and it's
harmless.
it's really harmless and really
That's
funny.
just an improv game.
It totally
at
is.
that point.
Yeah, it's really, really clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, but even that thing that you said with your friends, at least that was like your close friends. Now you're people going into Home Depots and chucking stuff at people and then being like, "What? It's a prank. It's a prank." Or like, there's dudes that are like, they're like, "Hey, let's just call this guy the N-word," and like, "Hey, dude, it's a prank. It's a like it's like
That's not a prank.
it's shit like that where the guys will go up and try to fight the guy, and the guy will be like, "Yo, you better," and he's like, "Whoa, it's a prank. Watch, there's a camera. It's like you're just starting fights with people on camera. That's not an actual funny prank."
I wonder how many times those guys did that when there wasn't cameras. They like said it and got called on. There's cameras everywhere. I'm doing a prank show. I'm not.
Man.
Just as a safety thing. So yeah, so I'm all for like us there not being a Karen thing anymore. And I hope that the legitimate, like the big ones, like the big Karen situations, and the word Karen has like deferred people from like acting like that in public, but I don't think it's gonna mostly.
No, I think people, well, especially like if you are a Karen, a big part of like a trait of a Karen is sort of like that entitlement. So that's not going away.
Yeah.
Just like I think those people will look at what women labeled as Karens do and are just like, I mean, she was right. You know, like they're not looking at that and going
So
like,
if you're a Karen watching that, you're like, why are they getting so mad
Right.
about this? I would have
Yeah.
done the
Oh,
same
okay.
exact thing.
yeah.
My
Do
favorite.
you, not Karen, but like just the ability to be like, because this is what me and Sean are bad at, and this is kind of what we started the
Comedy.
podcast based on. Yes. We were bad at comedy, so we were like, let's do a podcast.
pivot.
Serious feelings podcast.
Pivot.
But it's a thing where like I'm not good at like standing up for myself in certain situations. Like if there's like something wrong with my food, I'm rarely gonna say anything. If there's something like I will be uncomfortable before I make people think like I'm like an asshole or a male Karen or a Steven or whatever we're
Right.
gonna call it. Are you good at like sticking up for yourself in those situations?
It depends on what it is. Food, I would never complain unless it's like inedible. And even then I might not. I might just go
What if
somewhere
something's
else.
not done that you asked to be done with the food? Like if you were like, hey, can I just have this on the side? and it doesn't come on the side? Are you just?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just eating it.
You're just eating it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm also like not a picky person when it comes to food.
Yeah.
So that's not something. Even if I ask for it on the side, it's like I don't care.
But like a hair. What about
so
a
you're
hair?
not even doing it.
Hair doesn't bother me at all.
Me either.
Hair, I think it's a weird thing that we get so freaked out by hair because it's not. It wasn't
It's all
unless
over
it's
the
a
place.
pube.
Yeah. If it's a pube, I
Pubes
can
are
see-
different, but a hair, it happens.
I
shed
agree.
all the time.
I've seen hair on my food and brushed it off and ate the food.
Yeah.
I think it really depends. I think it has to be depending on my mood.
I think
Like
a
depending
hair's
on where I'm at. Like if I'm really grossed out by say that you walk in the restaurant, like that happened to me once. There was this bar that these guys used to run a show at, and you'd walk into the bar and like all the tablecloths had like a sheen on them, and you're like everybody's kind of gross. That was like all the waiters. You're kind of like this is kind of off-putting, and I don't think you're used to giving food out. And then there I got like mac and cheese, and there was like hair right in the middle of it. I'm like, no, I don't know how it would have gotten to the middle. You know what I mean? Like it's like at that point I was like, yeah, man, I can't have that because of the hair. But most time I just go, and I just chunk it out and I eat the rest of it.
It's
you know?
gross if it's a long pull. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's like
Oh,
in
it's like, and you do have to do that.
yes, if it's coming out of your mouth or like it's in the sandwich and you like really like see it coming out, and you're
If
like,
it's like a
fuck."
magician's scarf.
Not like if you could like kind of like slide it off with a fork. If I got it, yeah.
Is this your card?
So it sounds like I'm more okay with a pube. That's just little, and I
Yeah.
could just scrape it
it's
to the side.
Old curly Q, right?
I want pubes and not big long hairs.
Just
the preference.
but you're saying like so
I'm
most times you won't say anything.
For that, I will not say anything. The things I'm good at standing up for myself are usually regarding stand-up with like payment.
Yeah.
If somebody owes me money, which happens all the time,
Yeah.
they don't pay. I'm really good at being like, if they offer this amount of money for a gig, I'm pretty good at being like, that's not enough. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I've only gotten good at that in the past, I would say 2 years, where I've been like, nah, I can't do it for that amount. And they're like, okay, I'll get back to you. I'm like, you're not gonna, but that's fine.
Right.
It takes a lot of energy. I'm good at doing the like, hey, you said it was this, and you actually pay me that.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes like me like, gotta go over and talk to this guy, and then after I'm like depleted and just like relieved, you know.
Oh no! Afterwards, I'm like, I'm God. I can do anything. Vote for me for president.
Well, we just did a show that actually worked out really well, but the person who ran it was like, you're like, how long should we do? And Ray's like, how long do you want me to do? And she's like, half hour, 40 minutes if you want. And he's like, well, you're not paying me to do that. And,
Right.
and we're, whatever it is. And he's right. And also the way the show is set up, it was like this thing should be no longer than an hour and 10 minutes. Like it was like that kind of vibe. So we kind of did that just on our own. We're like, hey, thanks, see you later, and we got out of there.
I did a show one time where I also you guys are cool with like getting in the weeds about comedy stuff on this?
Of course.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
It's
we just
whatever.
talk. Yeah.
I did a show one time where I was headlining, and I told the host when I wanted my light at like 40 minutes, and he did not light me. But I did my set, and then I got off, and he was like, yeah, the owner of the club told me not to light you. And I was like, that's weird. And then the next night it happened again. And then the owner afterwards was like, yeah, don't get off until you see the light. And I was like, well, you're not lighting me at 40. I did 50 minutes. Like, what more do you want from me?
Absolutely.
And he was like, well, the kitchen got backed up.
So what?
So just don't get off. And I was like, hey, look, if you want me to do extra time, I can do extra time. You need to signal me at like 25, 30 minutes, because I can't just like go into my closer and then add more. And he was like, no, just like do some crowd work. Just like ask them like where they're from or whatever. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I'm not that kind of comedian. And like, I think me 3 years ago would have been like, okay.
Right.
But now I was just like,
This
no.
is recently?
Yes.
That's great.
Recently.
It's an act. You're not gonna fucking vamp for, you know what I mean?
It's also like, it's that whole thing of like,
Well, no,
your failure to plan is not my emergency, right? Like,
It also shows
For
you
sure.
some of these clubs, you're just up there so they can be selling the drinks and selling the
Yes.
food. And to make it's like at least play the game and pretend that's not it. And the minute you go, well, yeah, do your thing, do your sketches until
Right.
until we need you to get off. No, go fuck yourself. I'll get off if you need me to stretch because you messed up. That's on you. Just have play some music, and then
Right.
settle it up, make it hang out and talk afterwards, and you can get them pay their bills.
it is a weird thing in comedy clubs, the way that
It's a
they
bar business.
the way that they drop the check and all that. It's like, you guys really don't trust your audience. Like, you
No.
really don't trust them to pay their bill.
Yeah. Well,
It's a very easy way to dine and dash if they did it at the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably pretty easy to run out on a tab at a comedy club.
I don't know.
I-
Everywhere is easy to run out,
True.
out on the tab.
I did a club recently that it was a big room, and like it never. I don't draw, so it's like one of these things where it's like it wasn't a ton of people there. It was like 50 people in this big room, and the guy, I would say, like, so quickly into my set they passed out the checks, and I was closing the show, and I was like, really? I'm like, you have to do these now? I'm like, there's 50 people here.
Yeah.
And I just said it because I was like, it was so loose. I was like, I don't care. I'm like, what are you doing? And I think the guy got it. And the whole time, this waiter was the biggest prick to me the whole weekend, where like I asked him a question, he'd give me a snotty answer. I'm like, cool, man. And I just walk away. And then finally it was like the end of the weekend. I was fed up. And I go, dude, you have to do this now? I'm like, and I started making fun of him. Like, he can't handle 50 checks? I'm like, come on, man, it's your job. I'm like, because I know you're doing this on purpose. You're being a prick. Then to be a prick back, they had those like menu things on the tables, like those little folded things, like, that is, QR code scan it. For some reason, 10 minutes later, after the checks are done, he starts going around picking those up off the table. And I was like, are you collecting those now? Are you fucking kidding me? And I kind of like just became serious. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. You can take off. And I'm like, Jesus, everybody. I think he's trying to be part of the show. Whatever I said. And it got a laugh because I was like, I wanted to jump into the crowd and punch him in the fucking mouth. Because I was like, are you out of your head? Like, why would you do that to me?
You're like the one comedian who's like, don't give it up for your wait staff, everybody.
No, give up your wait staff, except for that guy. Yeah,
if you had Mike C, stiff him. He's a piece of shit.
But he was a piece of shit the entire time. And I'm like, I don't know what I did to you. And I talked to somebody else who worked there. They're like, oh, no, he is an ass. Like, he's just an asshole. And I was like, all right, that makes more sense. I'm like, I never met you before, dude. So, yeah, I think that owners do it. And then, like, wait staff, because they just decided, like, I don't care what's going on. I want to get the fuck out of here. And a lot don't. A lot are really cool, and they're working for tips, and they're whatever. So, like, I have to make sure I get paid. People don't skip out on me. That does happen. But owners, I think, yeah. Or if you go to a place where they're like, yeah, we're going to do, like a 2-hour show. We have to make it a 2-hour show. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Have some respect for what this is.
Yeah, it's sometimes when people are like, what do you do, like an hour? And I'm like, you don't want me to do it. Like, you don't want an hour of stand-up.
Yeah.
You just don't want that. You want 45 minutes. That's what you want of one person. So, like, with stand-up and with, like, livelihood stuff, I'm pretty good at standing up for myself. If it's anything that's, like, an inconvenience to me or, like, in my life, no, I will just eat it. I don't. I don't want to get into, because it's so much energy to, like, fight for what you want.
Yeah.
I just don't have it.
I'm like very thankful that my girlfriend is really good at that, like the little shit, and I'm just like such a coward, like to the point where when we went to the movies to see Barbie, we went to the one of the AMCs that has the nice seats, like the recliner seating, like where it like buzzes, like bzzz, lift your legs up, lift your legs down, and I sit in mine, she sits in hers. Mine doesn't work. I'm like sitting stiff. I was like, I guess I'll just sit here, and she was like, trade me seats. I was like, no, I don't want you to have to sit there. She's like, well, trade me seats because I'm going to go down there and have somebody come up and fix it, or we're going to get this for free. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, holy shit. She's in like 2 minutes, like there's a dude up there like lifting the seat up, like fixing underneath.
Italian.
She's just standing there. That's it, yeah.
She's Italian.
She's Italian and Jewish.
Oh, yeah.
So she got,
she's got it all.
Yeah. She's probably down there talking with her hands. Like, she's the one I got to, like, move, like, drinks out of the way on the table when she talks all the time. I hope she does.
So she doesn't throw it at you?
Huh?
So she doesn't throw it
No,
at
she
you?
doesn't knock it over.
I know.
But that's a great segue to Barbie.
I loved Barbie.
I love Barbie.
Barbie's
so much.
great.
That's
beautiful.
You sound like you have an obligation to say that right now. You can say if you
No,
hated
it
Barbie.
like touched me in a way that I didn't know I needed to be touched. I didn't mean to say it like that. But you know what I mean? I came. What can I say? I watched Barbie and I came.
I think you got a different movie experience.
I do think we had a different movie experience, but I know a lot of people cried during Barbie. I came close. I didn't cry, but the part where I came close was at the bus stop when she turned to the woman and was like, "You're beautiful." And I almost started bawling. And then when the woman just goes, "I know." And I was like, I'm not going to cry because that's funny, but God.
You know what I thought that was going to be?
What?
When she, spoiler alert, when she becomes, I thought that was going to be her at the end of her life.
Oh.
Like some weird way.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
thought
it
that were
is.
Because she kind of looks back at her like, because she kind of sounds like Barbie the way she says it. I know I'm beautiful, or whatever it is. So I was like, ooh, maybe they'll make it somehow where that's Barbie. But
The only time I almost cried during that movie was when they took Ken's Mojo Dojo house away from him. Like, come on, Ken, we got to hang on to our dominance here in Barbie Land.
so here's the thing. I had a conversation with my girlfriend yesterday about the idea, because right after I saw it, I was in Illinois. I was talking to Raymond over here on the phone, and he was like, oh, do you think there'll be sequels? I'm like, absolutely, especially once it hit 1 billion. I'm like, absolutely. And here's the thing that happens. Like, I actually, ideally, I would say I wish there wasn't. Because when a movie like that is so important to people,
It's special.
it's so special, the minute sequels get involved, usually, 9 times out of 10, it sullies the experience, and it's a cash grab. Now, the point I was trying to make yesterday is, if Greta Gerwig does them and they're not as good, we have to be able to admit that the sequels aren't as good. You know what I mean? Like,
Because no sequels are as good.
Sure.
Almost never. Like, only a couple times in history. Godfather 2 is as good or better.
Sister Act 2.
Is it?
Back
I
in
never
the
saw
Habit,
it.
it's
Yeah.
way better.
I've heard it's
Yeah.
really good. And then
Such
recently,
a good tagline. so good. Back
And,
in the habit.
and recently, with probably the biggest come up ever is Maverick.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it's
Top
actually
Gun
better
Maverick.
than the original.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was not a Top Gun guy, Maverick. Right. So that could happen with the second Barbie movie, but I think there was so much build up to this, and it was so well written and so well done, and the message was so clear and was so smartly done that I don't see, especially if she's not involved in the next one, which you don't know if she's gonna. The reason why that movie was good because it was such a good cast, but also Greta Gerwig's fucking phenomenal. So it's
She's
like one of
really
these things
good.
where it's like, if you don't have her in it, you're gonna see a dip.
Well,
I guarantee.
It's also this thing of like the Barbie movie knows what it is. It's like very self-aware.
You're right.
What I want from it is not sequels. What I want is for there just to be some acknowledgement that movies like written by women and starring women and produced by women and directed by women have an audience, and it doesn't just have to be like women will spend money to go see this stuff, because whenever the demographic is women, like people don't put anything behind it, like they don't advertise for it, like.
And
So I think that'll change.
That's what
now.
I want the lesson
I think
to
it'll
be.
change, and I'll tell you why. Because it made $1 billion.
I hope
I think
so.
we have to admit that in our business, or technically
But with
our
inflation so high, is that really?
business, gas is $5 a gallon. But here's the thing: it also makes you realize, like, the idea that Hollywood is liberal is very misleading. Because if it didn't make the amount that it made, they wouldn't be pushing that narrative, and they would just go back into the lexicon of women driven movies aren't going to make you enough money, so we're not going to do it. You have to be able to admit, like, the bottom dollar is the bottom. They do it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It was done so well. The creative people involved with it did a fantastic job in delivering the vision of Greta Gerwig. But the only thing that matters to most people involved in that movie is that it made $1 billion globally.
Sure.
It's just a fact. And I think that now the money talk thing really will make, like, shit, we can do more money with Greta. We can do, yes, then that is the only thing that would change, make a sea change.
Don't you think multiple sequels, which I, as a fan of like just film and movies, don't normally like to see, but if they did make multiple sequels, wouldn't that be good for like having like a franchise that is geared towards women, made by women?
Yes,
because there's not many of
100%.
those. There's like, you know, like you had like
There's
all these big movie franchises.
there's not any female-driven franchises?
Not many. I mean, maybe you could say like something like The Hunger Games is a little more down the middle, but it's still like.
Yeah, but it's
not
not
a-
really for women.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
also not this.
Starring
What about
women,
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? They have a couple of those, but it's not doesn't make as much money. But I mean, like, it's still.
But it's also
That's
not like
female-driven.
it's also not like Blockbuster taking over the theater.
Sisterhood
Right.
of the Traveling Pants is also like for girls.
For girls. True. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
We're saying like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is for everybody. This is for like all ages and.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about standing up for yourself, like Greta Gerwig, the story that I heard is, and this is a Barbie spoiler, but Rhea Perlman's character of playing the
wife?
the
the
creator
yeah.
of Barbie. Wow, what
Wow,
a
I
little
did
slip
that.
there,
Yes, you're
Sean.
right.
Was what? What did
He
say?
called her the wife.
She was the wife of the guy who
Oh.
was the Mattel guy or the. She was the wife of some like executive.
She's not. She's the creator of Barbie.
That's it straight up?
That's it straight up.
Well, he just found out her name's Rhea Perlman. He kept
No, I did not.
You
I
kept
know.
calling her Danny DeVito's old lady.
No.
You kept
Oh, I
going.
thought she was the wife of somebody involved in making Barbie.
No.
I had no idea that. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
The broad
Good to know.
from Cheers. She was great at the end.
I mean, maybe the actress Rhea Perlman is, but the character
No. Yeah, okay.
is the creator of Barbie.
Okay.
And Greta Gerwig wrote that in, that she would be in the movie, and apparently the executives tried to cut that part, and Greta Gerwig said, if you cut her out, I'm not doing the movie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's
Because it's like, that's the whole point,
right.
is that this was all created by a woman who just wanted a doll who looked like
Oh, like a woman.
like her daughter.
I think that I'm glad she did that. But that's
Yeah.
why, that's what I'm saying. Greta Gerwig, I think there's the creative part of it. And then it paid off. And then,
Right.
and then,
But
yeah.
that's like part of standing up for yourself, is you have to be willing to walk away from something you care about.
Like
And
the-
that's
like-
very difficult.
And it happens
Oh,
in
of
stand-up
course.
as well. Like I've had a couple of power of no moments in stand-up that I'm like proud of myself for, but it comes in and out. I'll just agree to shit.
What?
I'll just agree to shit I shouldn't do, or
Oh,
I shouldn't
yeah,
make
all the
enough
time.
for. Yeah.
I have signed contracts I wish I didn't sign. You know, we've all.
But like, yeah, I full on. Yeah, but that's one of those things where it's like I know better than you, and that was the right choice that led to something working out tenfold.
It's this thing of like, I know what's gonna be good. You have to trust me, and that's
Right.
like the thing that you have to take into your own life too.
But also, what it kind of makes you real. But here's the thing: it kind of goes into what I was saying. Is like, so the idea that they would just trust her because it's Hollywood is false.
Right.
Because look what they did.
Hollywood is only liberal in the sense that it's filled with a bunch of theater kids.
Yes.
Like it's still the most capitalist.
Yes,
You're right.
It's a business.
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all it
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
only care about money.
Absolutely.
And they're like, oh, I guess like caring about gay people earns money.
It's trendy.
Yeah.
So yes,
That's
exactly.
the only reason.
Yes, it'll make us money. Like even with that, when it came to that back, I was talking to my brother-in-law. Like works for a producer, and he was like, I talked to him about when the back was Batgirl, right?
Batgirl got
movie.
canceled,
It got
yeah.
it got pulled, and he was like, I'm like, oh, what's going on with that? He's like, I'm like, seems messed up. He's like, dude, it was a full on money. They made more money not putting it out than they would have putting it out. They would operate at a loss putting it out. So that's why they did it. 'Cause
Like the
think
money
about
they would have had to spend on advertising and stuff.
It's
Yeah.
another what?
Yeah,
$50
and
million?
distribution and
Yeah, and it would have tanked. That was the theory. But here's the thing, because this is how you also the fact that the Flash did come out proves the same theory. Because that guy was just not apologetic about the shit that he was doing. So it's like just the money factor just drives all of that stuff.
Did the Flash not do well?
It didn't do that.
No,
well.
it did very bad.
And
Yeah.
Was it bad?
I saw it.
was
I
okay.
actually,
It was
fun.
fine.
I
It was
liked it.
fun.
It was fun, but it was. I would have understood it the same way that people got mad about Batgirl. It's like, well, if Hollywood had that in mind at all with any of these decisions, they would have pulled that, and it did not even matter if it was Ezra Miller. Like, I don't know why he was considered such a commodity. That guy. I think it's like, I don't know. Like when people found out Michael Keaton was in it, I think the movie had a bigger buzz than with Ezra Miller.
Well, that's why they kind of focused the whole marketing of it towards just Michael Keaton being in it, because Ezra Miller was such a little shit.
yeah,
He's a creep.
Yeah, he's a creep,
He's-
a weirdo. Can I ask either of you a question if you know this? Because I don't really read the news and I see memes and tweets and stuff, and
Also,
that's
you
where
realize you just did the song "Creep."
what did I say?
I'm a creep.
I'm a weirdo. I love that song.
Sorry.
What did Lizzo do wrong? Do you know?
Ooh,
I
let's
know
get
you know.
Ariel's opinion.
This broke my heart.
Are you a big Lizzo fan?
Huge Lizzo fan.
Okay.
I had to rewrite a joke because I have a joke
Because
about
it's
like
pro Lizzo.
yeah. It's just one line. It's not a whole joke, but I changed it to Dolly Parton.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
So nobody tell me anything about Dolly Parton.
Actually, I think.
So the allegations
80.
against
I've heard shit.
the allegations against Lizzo by 3 of her dancers, I believe, are that Lizzo, I believe like pressured them into a naked photo shoot that they were not comfortable with, which I watched Watch Out for the Big Girls, and it is like that episode of them doing the naked photo shoot is there. The way it's edited makes it seem like they were not necessarily pressured, but editing, we all know.
Sure.
Right.
You guys listen to this podcast, you got it, editing.
Yeah.
And then apparently there was in the Netherlands when they were on tour, they had to go to like a strip club or see a sex show, and they were strongly encouraged to eat a banana out of a stripper or out of a sex worker's vagina.
Speaking of Godfather 2.
And then
they go to the donkey show.
and then I guess there was also like added benefits to the dancers who were like down to hang out with Lizzo in that way.
Oh.
So I don't know. I
Sounds
don't
like the
know.
Burt Kreischer Fully Loaded tour.
Is that how Rosebud got pregnant?
Hey, you got to go hang gliding with Burt Kreischer.
Just making people.
Burt Kreischer's going to be the next Lizzo.
I mean, he's all about body acceptance.
He totally is. It makes a lot of sense. But
I guess
you better go. You better go. Race hogs. Race bikes with. Or you're not living your life.
So funny.
Apparently, there were also allegations of like fat phobia from Lizzo because like one of her dancers like struggled with an eating disorder and gained weight on tour, and then Lizzo. Apparently, there was like a meeting. I don't know.
That's
How
hilarious.
does that happen? Wow, that's the
I
most
don't know.
confident. Talking about becoming confident. That's the most confidence one
I
person can
know.
have. Where you just don't even know that you're the same size as the people. That you're the same. You have the same.
I
Kinda,
don't know.
It's like how
I
all
don't
my
know.
uncles call each other fat, and they're all like just
Just the
fat
same
dudes.
size, yeah.
They're all like.
I also wasn't there a case of that the documentarian that was filming her
yes.
stopped mid film.
Apparently, yes.
Did they
which-
put the banana in the peel and then peel it? 'Cause I just feel like it would be logistically difficult to get like if you took the peel off to. 'Cause
My
it's all
guess
mushy.
is one end is peeled,
Yeah.
and then that's what's sticking out, and then the peeled, the with the still peeled.
That's what I'm
is
thinking.
in. That's
Yeah,
what I
that would
think.
work. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think that's a great question.
Thank you, 'cause
And nobody's asking it.
you know what my brother-in-law does? How he eats bananas?
Same way.
In-
He takes the entire
out of a butthole. It's like kind of
he
weird.
shoves it right in my
Sad.
sister, and no, he completely peels the peel off.
What?
He completely peels the peel off,
Oh, and
throws
it's
the
just
peel away,
holding
and
it with
just
his
walks around-
unwashed hands.
Just walks around with a raw, smushy banana and eats it like.
That's-
Donnelly, how come you don't have soap in your bathroom?
I do.
On
It's
the
on
sink.
my thing. I'm usually the only one here, so it's in the shower thing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Also, I wash my hands with bananas.
Yeah, and that. and I think-
There's
yeah.
tons of fresh open bananas.
I wash my hands with Lizzo's pussy. So
So, but let me ask you this, because Lizzo, like, she had to me, it's like a one-hit wonder thing. I know that's not the case.
what did you just say?
Wait, that was the most offensive thing.
That's horribly offensive.
Wait a minute. She had 2 songs, 2 big hits.
Multiple. songs.
How many?
She's in
I
the
don't-
Barbie movie.
Yeah.
But that's a new song. Is that
Yeah.
a hit yet?
She's doing the thing. She's like, Barbie
When
walks
you
out
get to
of
that,
the
all right, so when you
house.
get to that point, all right, so I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Lizzo. Please don't treat me like you treat your dance.
Yeah. Oh no! Please don't make me eat a banana out of a vagina. You know.
But it's one of these things where, okay, you're an actual fan.
Yeah.
Does it make you, how much, even percentage-wise or fully, are you less of a fan or not a fan anymore? Or are you taking these women at their word? Or are they just trying to make an extra buck? Or that filmmaker, is she bullshitting because she wants to get the clout? What's happening here?
I don't think they're making it up for clout. I do believe them that there was problematic behavior. It's not enough for me to stop listening to Lizzo.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
To
Pop
be
on the
honest.
Kanye and Michael Jackson next. Am I right?
Oh, and Kanye's done.
I think a lot
Michael
of people
Jackson's
think that.
done.
I don't know.
They
I'm just
still play
kidding.
them both on the radio frequently.
I know. Of course. You
It's
can't
wild.
not-
I
You
mean,
can't
it's
not play Michael
still-
Jackson on the radio. It's like, I guess you could if you really wanted to.
He's
but-
hard for me to listen to.
Do they still play R. Kelly on the radio?
No, he's the one
he's
guy
gone. Yeah.
that they were just like, eh.
Yeah.
Because there's
Michael Jackson is easier for me because he's dead, and I know he's not directly benefiting from it.
Fair.
Well, directly, yeah. So it's kind of the estate, and that Blanket kid can get the cash. His name's Blanket.
I
His
know.
name
Yeah.
is Blanket. That's
Yeah.
not his fault that his name
It's
is
just
Blanket.
silly.
No.
It's just silly. I don't know.
Somebody else's fault.
But the idea, that's why I was curious. So, but did you go, are you now, if her song comes on, do you, because I gotta be honest, the Kanye thing, I like, okay, so now you make a story on Instagram. I have had the mindset where I'm like, I'm not gonna put a Kanye song on because of, I'm like, I just think twice. And I was a big pretty big Kanye fan from like the beginning.
I was
I'm
a diehard Kanye fan, and now like, but I started losing like before he even fully went off the deep end. I started losing him with like even just the running his own church and being a musical genius. Like kind of like when I was like, all right, I'm probably good. When he was mean to Taylor Swift, that was when I was kind of like,
I wasn't on Kanye until he said that Jonah Hill made him change his mind about the Jews, and then he was pro. That's where he lost me.
That's another group of guys where you're like, now you hear those stories about Jonah Hill.
I'm just kidding. I'm Jewish.
I like the mugs to the camera.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I get it.
But the Jonah Hill thing is interesting to me too, because you're like, for years it was just like, oh yeah, he was kind of this like salty, big, heavy-set dude that's funny and this, and then they're like, oh yeah, you realize that, and this is the end. Like I talked to you the other day about.
Yeah.
Like that's just the dynamic all of them have in real life, and like that the one dude, Jay, whatever his name is.
Baruchel.
Yeah, they just hates Jonah. And like it's
like
public.
in real life.
Like
In
he's
real
even
life.
said it in interviews and stuff
Yeah.
that like they really like have kind of like an awkward relationship, friendship.
And then I saw a clip of Michael Cera talking about how Jonah hated the kid who played McLovin in Superbad because he felt like he was stealing his thunder. Even in the audition, he came in and he was kind of like on top of him and didn't give a fuck. And he was being funnier than Jonah. And he leaves and Jonah goes, not him. Because he couldn't take it.
Really?
And then somebody I know worked with Jonah on a movie and he's like, he was a giant fucking prick. So at what point, how many of these things come out? You're like, hey, you're just an asshole. Or is it the acceptable amount of asshole? Because what it is just you being driven and getting yourself the camera time you need and the roles you want because you're still being, he's a talented guy.
No,
The
but
minute
he's an asshole.
you lost me on Jonah Hill when it's like when Netflix was like, let's have you, let's get one of your therapy sessions as a special on our streaming
What is
platform.
that?
Is that what that
Oh.
was?
Yeah, it's him
I
interviewing
didn't
his
watch it.
therapist.
Oh, that's weird.
Weird.
Super weird. It's
Yeah.
like, how far up your own ass do you have to be?
Just make Superbad 2, dickhead. You
Well,
know,
no,
I don't.
that got canceled too. Superbad.
Oh, there was gonna be a Superbad 2?
No, I mean Superbad the movie is not. It's problematic now, from what I understand. I haven't seen it in years.
No, it's
It's
not.
been a long time since I've seen it.
It's funny, but there's like things now they wouldn't do. I was saying this to you about Arrested Development. I watched original 3 seasons of Arrested Development. There's so many things that would not be in that show. Now there's a lot of homophobic stuff. There's a lot of what else?
There's a lot of. I think that was the main thing is like the Tobias being gay thing. Wouldn't be as probably
and
wouldn't
a lot
be
of
as.
Asian hate. They do a lot of like Asian jokes. Not a lot, but
I haven't watched it. I mean, I thought it was so funny and so well written, but I don't know how well it holds up. I do want to say to just put a bow on the Lizzo the Lizzo topic.
You found the new Lizzo.
No, I did find out though that she has been rolled off of the list of Super Bowl performers, halftime performers, because you know how seriously.
They take abuse allegations. NFL famously.
I forget who it was on
Sam
Twitter.
Morril.
Yeah, he said something. He said, and Deshaun Watson's still starting.
I don't know who that is, but I'm sure it's funny.
He has like 20. He's a quarterback with 20 sexual assault allegations.
Oh, okay.
20 plus.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like I mean, like Ray Rice still played after there was video of him
Here's the thing.
punching his girlfriend in an
Who
elevator.
kicked you off? Was it? I guess it would have had to be NFL doing it.
I mean, it would. I mean,
Also, how do they know now?
Here's
Like 6 months out.
because they just wanted to
Well,
make a
should
statement
they-
that they're against sexual assault, so
Yeah,
they
of
didn't have to
course.
make a player sit.
Yeah.
This was their Trojan horse.
It's like, look, I think Lizzo probably deserves a decent amount of scrutiny and a little bit of like, I don't think anybody should be stand by like at any level. There's no perfect celebrity. There's no like
Don't meet your heroes kind of thing. Yeah.
totally don't meet your heroes. And what? Not even that, but like, don't look at people who are famous as people who are blameless or like flawless or
For sure.
fully unproblematic. Like, I don't know. I don't think you get to that level of success without being a little bit problematic.
Absolutely. But it's just how much you
But
finesse it.
I also think she is getting a lot more blowback than other people who have done worse things. And I don't know if that's an overcorrection by the industry or if they're like finally listening and being like, oh, I guess we should actually have consequences for people who behave problematically. I don't know.
So you don't think it's not like you're saying she doesn't deserve to be out of the public eye. It's just like, but when somebody does this stuff, everybody always wants personal responsibility when it comes to it. And she didn't. She doubled down on being like, Eddie. Fuck you, I didn't do shit. Like, so.
And it's possible she didn't do shit.
It is possible.
But.
The one, besides the dancers, what did it for me was the documentarian.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a really big opportunity for a documentary filmmaker, and it's documented that she left.
Oh.
So
that's why they call it that.
Son of a bitch.
But it's known that she left, and she's out being like, hey, that's why I left, for the arrogance. So it's like, I kind of live some credence to it. It's like not somebody, because you can also chalk it up to like a band, like a Van Halen type thing, where it's like the backup dancer's like, we just couldn't take each other anymore. Fuck her, and we'll join together to like take her down. I could see that happening just based off personal beef.
Sure, but also like being arrogant or being difficult to work with does not inherently make you abusive.
Sure.
So
No, because how many divas were there back in the day of Diana Ross and you know, or rock star behavior like Mick Jagger and all the Van Morrison of all people is known for being a giant piece of shit. So it's like, it's just you get to a level where nobody tells you no, and then somebody tells you no, and then or you like, I don't feel like doing this. You lose any kind of capacity to be like, oh yeah, I get that. You don't want to go naked in this photo shoot. You feel weird. You don't not doing like exactly what I say. That's totally cool.
Right.
You're just
that
like, no,
should be the response.
I'm the king of this castle, and what I say rules.
Right.
Are Lizzo's backup dancers all like bigger gals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're called the Big Girls.
Oh, is that the name of the group? That's
what her dancers are called. They're called the Big Girls. And then there was a TV show, a reality show called Watch Out for the Big Girls, where she's basically she's auditioning for new dancers, and it's like it's kind of like a however long that show actually lasts, however long the filming process lasted, like boot camp, trying to like select new dancers.
So
I have a real quick take on that. The fact that the show is about that and not about her existing loyal dancers could also be reason enough that she's an asshole. Because didn't Beyonce have the same dancers for like 20 years? Some dude that just got murdered in New York. This gay dude that danced for Beyonce just got like, it was a hate crime. Because he was gay, and they confronted him and his buddy, and then he got like stabbed or something and killed. But I think he danced for her for like a bunch of years. And a lot of those big names, I think, keep the same people for a while. So if she's changing over the whole crew, that might
She's
be
not changing over the whole crew.
Oh,
she's like
okay.
adding more dancers because she's doing like a bigger show. She had
Oh,
talked
okay,
about like
okay.
how she hadn't toured in multiple years, partly because of COVID.
Okay.
But also like there is a smaller pool to pick from when you are specifically looking for bigger dancers.
That's kind of what I was going to ask.
She was asking agencies, I mean, this is like according to the show, but she was asking agencies to send her like dancers who were plus size, and they just didn't have anybody.
Right.
So she then, I mean, not her, but her team like put out this call, and they did an audition process and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Okay.
Because I was curious because one, I feel like it would also be hard because, I feel like most dancers would be smaller, and it's like how the thick parkour guy that I like to watch.
Yeah. It was fun to watch because he's like,
it's
a little bit
but
off.
he's killing it. But
Yeah.
it's surprising that like all this work he's doing, you would think he would be shriveled down to like a little guy.
well sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's we've been conditioned to think that fitness is tied to being thin, and that's not the case, right? Like your body size and type is not an indication of how strong or flexible or fit you actually are.
Fair.
But like the media portrays it that way. But like Jennifer Aniston can't do a plank, like she'll break. You know what I mean?
Right. And also that dude, you're like, that guy kills it. I'm like, he does, but he's not doing the same thing. I've seen some of those
He's
parkour
pretty
videos.
good, dude.
It looks like he's kind of doing he's kind of spoofing it a little bit. Like he's
Oh, you think he's goofing?
a little bit, dude.
No.
Yeah, some of those parkour
He's
videos
like
are
a German.
These guys are flipping
they're not
over.
Goofing.
What?
He's German. He takes this shit very seriously. My guy.
Here's the thing. One last thing we wanted to do before we get out of here.
Oh,
I think
yes.
you found a replacement for Lizzo. We want to get your opinion on
the
newest country sensation. What's his name?
I have there's so much to talk about with this guy. His name is his real name is Jake Hill, but he has
No. Oh, I want you to say the other name.
Well, we'll get there.
All right. That's my question.
His name is Dixon Dallas.
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck and then he kisses on my pussy. Call him daddy while I holler, man, that boy's so damn good looking.
Now,
So that's Ray's
Now,
new
I
favorite
mean,
song. Like non-ironic.
objectively a catchy tune.
Totally.
Yeah.
Better than Try That in a Small Town. Way better.
Blows it out of the water. But so
Which is one of the lyrics.
well, if you listen to the full song, which I know you're gonna have to because of how good the hook is it's all like the verses are all like really sweet about
Okay.
being in love with a dude, and then it gets into the
Graphic,
chorus, and
yeah.
it's like, I fucked him in his booty cheeks, and it's like, oh, man. And so he this,
I'm in. I
And
love
here's the
it.
thing, objectively, you describe sex that way in any song like that, I'm gonna be weirded out with like the nice melody. Even if it's heterosexual sex, I'm like, he was like so romantic for a second. Yeah. He
Yeah.
was talking about fucking.
yeah, Toby Keith never made a bop about eating pussy. You know?
yeah.
But he should, dude.
How do you like me now? Now that I'm eating your cooch.
That's a pretty good Toby Keith.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
well, please don't tell him that. He's gonna be doing this all the time now. Yeah, okay, here's the
That
thing.
song has been stuck in my head, and I've been singing it over and over again for
He
He
days.
played it 2 hours straight on the way back from Pennsylvania yesterday.
I kept playing. He has some other tunes, so it wasn't just that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. My question is this: his real name is,
Jake Hill.
and it's a TikTok, and then he put 3 songs from his TikTok onto Spotify. The
Okay.
songs are how long?
They're all about like 3 minutes, and they're all very like not explicit, but like close to explicit, like like they'd be on FXX. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like they're they wouldn't
They wouldn't get to FXXX.
they wouldn't be on HBO, but they're on like that cable where you're like, God damn, I can't believe they let them say that on Just TV.
Okay. It's
Um,
softcore,
They're
not
the
hardcore.
shield of country
So my
homosexual sex songs.
so
It's like watching Static and seeing a nipple.
yes, yes, but you're not seeing any
You're
penetration
not
with this
watching
kid.
full porn. Yeah.
Right.
But he, so then I go down a full rabbit hole with him. The first thing that I watch is that this guy has not disclosed his sexuality,
I
right?
think he has.
Well, here's the thing. He makes a point of saying, "I'm not disclosing it," but his name is Jake Hill.
Yeah.
And the character's name is Dixon
Dallas.
Dallas. So my point is this. I think what it is like that's what TikTok has given us. He realized, oh my God, you know what would kill it for me on TikTok? Because he's a guy, he has a voice, but there's other clips on his TikTok of him where he's Jake Hill.
Yes,
So-
but Jake Hill. I did some more research since
Oh,
last time I saw
okay.
you. Jake Hill makes a bunch of other different types of genres of music. Like he does a little metal, a little pop punk, a little
my
bit of
point.
rap, and all of it though is
Gotcha.
gay.
Oh, but is
Oh,
he
it's all
just trying
gay.
to figure out what's going to catch?
I don't
think so.
know. Yeah,
I think so. And I think the gay angle, that's what I mean about him going, I'm not disclosing my sexuality, makes it even more mysterious.
That
People
I
go,
don't like, actually. Look, I think
agree.
for most people, if you don't want to disclose your sexuality and who you're attracted to, by all means don't. If you're making a point of writing lyrics about having sex with another man and you're doing it in this seemingly like proud, sort of like in your face way, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like,
I agree.
you can't queer bait
yeah.
and then make money off of
That's
that.
what they were
Good-
calling it.
Queer
baiting.
baiting. It is.
Yeah.
It totally is. Because it's like at least if you're making this song, which is a form of empowering yourself,
Right.
then empower yourself the full way by being like, I'm an out gay man.
But I don't
I
think
think you're
he
absolutely
is.
right. Queer baiting is a
I don't think you get to have it both ways.
You don't get to have it.
Unless you're bi.
my
Just say you're bi then.
Ah, come
All
on.
right. Oh, I got that 2 seconds too late.
I got that way too late.
Okay, well, I'm too smart for this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we just don't see anything other than straight or gay here. Just two men.
But no, but I think that I think it's a click thing. I think it's a TikTok thing. He's like, I think she's right. I think that he was like, I'm gonna try all these different things. They're all gonna be gay things. Whatever hits, which was this one, because that's the only one that hit, right?
So
I think he also pared down his TikTok to just. the
he
country
had
ones.
to. Do you think it's so like here's my 2 options that I think what he's doing is I think one, he was like, oh my God, there's no market for the like gay country or gay rap. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of Lil Nas X, but nobody's doing it like this. This is how I'm gonna get famous because nobody's doing it, right? and I'm not gay, but there's nobody doing that.
Or maybe I am, but I'm not.
Or-
I'm going to pretend. I'm going to say I don't know, or I'm not telling you, whatever.
What I initially thought is he was doing a bit, which a much younger Ray Zawodni, that was my bit. I would do a gay country singer because I loved the Norm Macdonald audio sketch where he does country gay, and it's about this guy that they find out's been gay the whole time, and it was really funny for the time. But now I think he did it as a bit, and then it caught on like gay dudes were like, oh, this is a tune. I love this tune. And then he pivoted and was like, yeah, I made it for you guys because you fucking need it.
The thing is, like, does country need a gay singer who's like out and proud and singing about gay shit? Absolutely. But like, if you are not gay, you are not the person to provide that.
100%.
That's a good take.
You're just trying to get rich off of it.
And this is it's completely, it's totally your business, but I agree with the point you made before about the queer baiting. But the thing is, if that's not you, then fuck you for doing it. At that
And
point.
find the person who is that and prop them up.
Right, but I think the mindset with a lot of these TikTok situations is, well, no, I'll just find the thing that gets me that blows me up.
Well, it's like all the accounts that just like repost videos that are already viral.
Right, exactly.
Do you think? I don't think he's gay.
I don't know, but that's the thing. I think there's a really good chance he's not. I think
Yeah.
that it's. He had a video where he's like, I'm gonna set something straight, and you're supposed to think it's about gay or straight, and he goes, I don't look like Horton Hears a Who. Like he's a weird looking dude.
Yeah, he's a weird
he looks
looking
like a couple
kid.
of cartoon characters. So he like obviously knows. He's self-aware enough to like make fun of himself in a video. So I think it's like supposed to be a fucking comedy thing, and he's like, I'm trolling all of you by making these gay songs, or it's not that, and he actually means it. But I think if he was actually gay, he'd be like, it's important for me to say I'm a gay man. I'm making these songs, and it's needed.
And that's what I was afraid of.
That what? That it's
I was
bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think it's bullshit.
Because I was digging the tune, and it's been stuck in my head, and now I'm just singing somebody's fucking hack bit.
Because here's
at
the
this
thing.
point.
I mean, it's still a good song.
It's
It
still
is
a
a
catchy
good
tune.
song.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, you should hear Like Whiskey. That's a good one too.
You also, nobody can ever turn around and say, man, hey, we need to know what is your sexuality, because you can't ask somebody that.
Because
So
that's
he
wrong.
forever can say, I'm never saying it, but I'm making these songs. I think they're important.
so-
And they have to go, he's like, after a while, if it really catches on more, they'll talk about how brave he is for just strictly making the songs.
Riddle me
And
this.
I think, what?
What about Elton John or like Luther Vandross singing songs about women all those years?
What about that? What's wrong with that?
Is that like, I mean,
Oh,
is that something, they were straight baiting?
Well, first of all, they weren't writing those songs.
Yeah, they're
Well,
just
yeah,
vocalists.
Bernie Taupin wrote all Elton songs. But
Also, like, it wasn't acceptable at the time for them to sing about their real lived experience.
so you think that they were just changing a word?
Also, you don't think Tiny Dancer was a guy?
Wow, great question. Uh-huh. An incredible point.
He doesn't say,
An
hold me
incredible
closer.
point.
Hold me closer, female Tiny
Yeah.
Dancer.
But this guy,
Let
it's
me
also like
touch
their
your little
songs.
pussy.
Elton John's songs are not like, they're not like, your beautiful curvaceous figure lady. Like, it's not that. It's about love. Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
like, so you're I believe that Elton John has felt love.
Sure.
I don't know that I believe that this guy has put his dick in a booty hole. Like, I
Right.
don't know that he's had the experience that he's singing about.
Not to mention,
She's demanding, show me on your face that
Or
you
at
put
least
your
not
dick
a
in-"
man's booty hole.
he
Right.
says booty hole in almost every song.
That's the other
Which
reason
is
why
a great term. by
It's
the
a
way.
great song, but
But
a
it's so
great term, but
silly.
it's silly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is silly.
So
it's silly, but it's like the most graphic you can get with the word booty hole in a song. Like he talks
Yeah.
about like he says booty hole,
He's
then
bouncing
pussy,
off my booty,
which is boy pussy, which is like booty hole's pretty goofy. Boy pussy's pretty hardcore.
Bussy. Yeah, Bussy is
Bussy.
also like, now you're taking language created by the gay community and putting it in your song. So if you
That's-
yourself are not gay, again, you're just like co-opting somebody else's language and culture to make money off of if he is not gay.
If he is not gay, but here's the thing: he'll never have to say ever what he is.
He's
because
like Elvis.
It's not. It's which I actually kind of agree with. You shouldn't have to, but I think it's. But if, like you said, if you're not, then it's wrong for you to do this. And it's.
You don't have to
it's
unless you're making
opportunist.
money specifically off of that community that you're pretending to be a part of.
I think he's making good money now.
No, he's not making.
Dude, you should
What
see
is-
his
what is
house. I went down a deep dive.
You don't think it was like a crib situation
You
where
know,
you rented
I-
a house for a thing?
This has been my life for like 2 days.
He loves him so much.
It's not that I love him. I'm intrigued by it. I need to know if what his play is. I want to know his angle.
I
What's
think
your angle,
for
Donnelly?
now, I think for now, look, he can be your Lizzo of like your
What if it
problematic
turns out
fave. It's
that
okay.
he treats his backup boy dancers like shit? Then where you at? He treats his bussies.
Like I don't think he's the new Lizzo, but I
Right.
think if you want to enjoy him the way that I will continue to enjoy Lizzo, I think it's okay.
Deal.
Deal.
Well, wait.
Can you guys shake on it?
Yeah, of course. My hands are sweaty.
Everything's ready. We're gonna end soon because
Lizzo-
All of us are so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Lizzo, the other thing that I wanted to ask about her going back, it just made me think of it. She said that one of her dancers was getting too fat or too, right?
I don't know. Like,
Well, that's
like,
the accusation,
yes,
right? Doesn't that
with
not
body
make
shape.
sense?
So
No,
If
of
she
course
wants
it is.
them to
That's
be
that's the whole point. If you're body image positive and you're actually doing this, that's wrong as well. That's,
right.
yeah.
And look, to play devil's advocate, which is disgusting.
Keanu Reeves.
Great movie.
I never saw it, but I it's possible that like she was more concerned about like this person's health because it's like, hey, I've noticed like you've gained a lot of weight, not in a way of like you're fat, you're gross, get away. But it could be like, I've noticed this is happening. Is there something wrong? If she did that, I think that's okay. I think if she said like, we've noticed your eating habits have changed and we're concerned about your fitness or we're concerned about your mental health, I think it's okay. But
do you really think that's the case?
I don't.
Yeah. I agree with, as you're saying. I'm like, yes, of course. But I also think she'd have a very big leg to stand on if she did do that. She said, I was worried about, I know she could have turned it on herself. If she was smart, she would have said that's what it was. She would have said that, I know how it is. I know the struggle. She was,
Well, but you never know what lawyers have told her, like, don't say anything
shit.
about this.
Do you think that she did like passive aggressive shit to her like my brother and sister used to do to me when I started getting real chubby, and they'd be like, wow, you must have been hungry.
I don't know.
Wow. Oh, you're going to eat all that's a big meal.
She
You're gonna eat all
doesn't
that.
strike me as passive aggressive. She just strikes me as like saying whatever she's thinking.
right, which is why it was pretty clear to them it just came off as aggressive. And it's not her going, hey, what's going on with you?
Is your health okay? she was like, damn, girl, you got big. She was like, oh, fuck.
I don't know.
Also, there was also a story where she had to be dragged out of a rehearsal, and she was giving them the finger on the way out. I don't think she's the most emotionally mature person. I think that might be a contrived message that she's been spouting for a couple of years now, and I think that the bullshit has been. But don't get me wrong. I think she just is the latest one to be exposed for. I think it happens all the time. Like
I
you
also
said.
I do think she believes what she says. Like this, like the body positive stuff. Like when she
Sure.
talks about how sexy she is. Like I believe she believes.
I think she means for herself.
I want to be generous and say she believes it about these other women too. I think you can be. I just want her to stay in my problematic fave.
Well, we can't. Well, I guess we'll find out. To be continued with Lizzo.
I think we will. And when the lawsuit stuff comes out and when everything is like out in the open, I hope you guys will have me back and we can discuss it.
Absolutely. And let me ask you this: if they call you as a character witness, will you show up onto the stand?
A character witness
In support of Lizzo.
In support of Lizzo. I mean, is the trial in L.A.?
The trial would be
Then
in
no.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
In Atlanta? I'll go to Atlanta. Yeah, I do.
It's nice there.
I was making stuff up. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
No, I'll do a weekend there.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having
Did
me.
you have a good time?
I had a great time.
With hanging out with two fucking morons.
You're my two favorite fucking morons.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Please, plug all the stuff, dates and socials and everything.
This comes out Thursday.
Ooh, this Thursday. Okay, so next weekend I will be in Wilmington, North Carolina at Dead Crow
Great
Comedy
Ooh,
Club.
amazing club.
I will be in Toronto September 21st, I think. September 20th and 21st, or 21st and 22nd at JFL. And then September 28th through the 30th, I'll be in Winnipeg. Ticket sales are not great. So
Is it Rumors?
What? At Rumors, baby.
Yeah.
And then you can just follow me on everything at Ariel_comedy.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Yeah. Tonight I'll be at Hilarities in Cleveland. And Saturday at the Attic Comedy Club in Columbus, Ohio. And me and Sean are on Brand New Jerks every single Thursday. Goofing. Full episodes, videos on YouTube, episodes on Spotify, clips galore where our Instagrams are. That's Ray Zawodni and at Shawnee Time, Sean.
That is correct. And I will be on Friday. I'll be in. I'm doing a show in Queens on Friday at Grove 34, and then Saturday I'll be in the Hamptons, and then Sunday I'm going to be with Fury in Jersey at Stone Harbor at some theater.
Hell yeah.
I'll share it. Don't worry about it. Thank you again, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.